Hey guys, so today I'm going to be looking at public transport horror stories. Yeah, let's just get right into the video. One night I was coming home late. A man got on the train. There was only one other person on the train besides this guy and myself. He sits across from me and leans forward. He then proceeds with the typical speech.
Hey girl, you got a boyfriend?
For some reason, I decided to engage him in this conversation rather than ignore him. He had crazy eyes and I didn't want to piss him off. His comments became increasingly inappropriate, that is, naming specific sexual acts he would do to me. What a creep. I had no idea what to say and was starting to become afraid. Thankfully, the other person on the train decided to stand up for me and told him to back off. He told this guy to watch his manners when he spoke to a lady. Then he came and stood by my side until the creepy guy got off the train. I couldn't believe this kid stood up for me though. He was dressed like the typical 18-year-old gangster. I don't really know what that looks like. He didn't even hit on me once the guy got off. He just said, "I'm so sorry you had to deal with that. There's no reason you should have to deal with that." Oh, he told me to be safe and got off at the next stop. That experience definitely proved to me that you shouldn't judge people on something as trivial as their clothing. Thank gosh. Someone taught him right. This whole story, from creepy to wholesome. So glad that guy stood up for her, honestly. Oh my gosh. I honestly wouldn't know what to do if this happened to me too. Like, do you stand up and walk away or do you just sit there ignoring that person? I don't know what I would do. I think I would just freeze because I'm so scared. I got on a mostly empty bus and sat down. Out of the corner of my eye, I saw someone get up, cross the aisle and sit down in the seat behind me. Thought that was weird, but put it out of my mind. The bus starts moving. A few minutes later, I feel something brush my side. Look down. The dude who'd moved to sit behind me had reached around my seat to touch me. I turned around and gave him a WTF look. He sat back and muttered a quick apology. I shrugged it off as something odd, resumed staring at the window. Few minutes later, it happens again. I turn around and say loudly, "Keep your hands to yourself." Then I get up and move to a seat in the frontmost row. The bus stops to take on more passengers. Someone sits next to me. I do not look up to see who it is. Then I feel a hand on my knee. I look over and it's the creeper. So I shout, "Keep your hands to yourself." He mutters, "I ain't doing anything. It was an accident." A woman nearby has seen and heard the whole thing. She gets up and starts yelling at the guy. He starts yelling back. Bus driver notices and informs the dude that he'll be getting off at the next stop. Creeper is still shouting at that other lady. She lets him know that she'll be getting off to kick his ass. The driver makes him get off at the next stop. The woman follows. I like to think she beat his ass. She looked like she could have. Oh my gosh. The hero we never knew we needed, honestly. That's my girl crush right there. What a creep though. Like seriously, he does it 3 times? Like what is wrong with people? I was waiting for the bus late at night when a guy with a trench coat approached me and whispered, "Psst, hey, want some meat?" I immediately thought he was going to flash me, but before I could react, he opened his trench coat to reveal meat, actual meat, in styrofoam packages in his trench coat pockets. Ground meat, chicken, all kinds of meat. Didn't even know what to say. I mumbled something about being a vegetarian and ran to a nearby convenience store. Isn't that creepier? Like, you're already expecting something, so you're not that creeped out, right? And then he shows you something that's more unexpected, and you're just like...
What?
Like, how do you know it's animal meat? Me being the overthinker that I am, I'm just gonna be like...
What if that's human meat?
What if, right? I couldn't get into a general chem class at my uni, so I was taking it at a local community college after my courses at uni. The days we had lab, the class ended at 11:45 p.m, which was always the exciting time to ride the train on the way home. Oh my gosh, that's scary. One night, I got on the train and stood in the middle section standing area, as to not disturb the characters on the train. A guy gets on at the next stop and stands across from me. I was reading a book and ignored him, although I noticed he kept eyeing me. As I looked up to check the next stop, he says, "You could fit in my trunk." I immediately got off the train with the next large group and called my boyfriend to pick me up. That's creepy. Now I'm just wondering like how many people he said this to, and what if there's really someone in his trunk? What if? This is gonna make me even more paranoid catching public transport. Oh no. I was riding a not very crowded bus in LA when a very old woman gets on the bus. She's wearing a skin-tight sequined dress, has crazy white hair, and is carrying some groceries. And she has an eye socket that has been completely gouged out. There's still dried blood, and as she stands next to me, she keeps picking at her eye and wiping her hand on the grocery bags that were banging into me. Huh? She seemed perfectly fine, just a lady with a completely gouged out eyeball on the bus. That's creepy. Wait, so her eye is like missing? But a part of me is just a bit worried. Like, does she know what she's doing to herself? Like, is she okay, man? Oh my gosh, like, why is no one getting that treated for her? Like, none of her kids, or if she has any. Jeez, sad being old. I fell asleep on a bus and woke up to a very old, scary-looking woman caressing my cheek with a very loving touch as she whispered, "I've missed you so much." She thought I was her son who died 30 years ago. Okay, this one is just sad. That's sad. This makes me sad. I am a little big boned and usually have to sit a little off the seat on the New York City bus. One day on a busy rush hour bus at the 42nd Street stop, a woman comes on the bus and sat on my knee. She was late 30s, dressed like she works in a nice office. By all accounts normal, except she sat on my knee. I didn't say anything for 2 blocks. Tried to gather the courage to say something for the next 2 blocks. Then she got up and left. No one said a word or even looked at us. Wait, either she's just like being a really entitled person thinking like she could just sit on anyone, or the bus moved and she fell and sat on his knee by mistake, you know? And then she just didn't know what to do anymore because, you know, it's like awkward, so might as well just stay here. Might as well just stay sitting on his knee and pretend like it wasn't a mistake. Like it's a power move, you know? There's a guy who rides on the red line in Chicago. He will ask to look at your shoes. Do not let him do this. He bends down and starts licking them. One of my friends got his shoes licked. Then he asked another one who was wearing sandals. Oh my gosh. This apparently has happened to several people I know. He just goes around licking people's shoes. Like, I'm surprised he's not sick by that. Nasty. A drunk bum tried hitting on me. I kindly told him to get out of my personal space. He proceeded to pee his pants, then tried to grab me. About 6 full-grown adult males were around to see this. No one did anything. So little 5'2" me has to throw this guy to the ground. What happened? She just grabbed his arm and just like flicked him to the ground. Wow. While I was flying home during the holidays last year, this person sitting next to me kept falling asleep and leaning on my shoulder. I asked one of the flight attendants if I could move to an empty seat because he had done it 5 or 6 times in an hour after I asked him to stop. He turns his head and says, "I wasn't falling asleep." What the heck? So he was doing it on purpose? That's worse, mate. What are you trying to prove? Yeah, I was doing it on purpose because I wanted to see how my head felt on your shoulder. That's why. Like, that's worse. So I was like, some people are a creep and dumb. Amazing. Well, that's it for the video. Hope you guys enjoy. Tell me in the comments down below what your thoughts are. And as always, thanks for watching. Hope you guys liked it. And I'll see you guys next time. Bye.